Thank you for your time. Simple as that, Kelly. Long time fan. And pulling the curtain back a little bit, I asked you how many songs are written for this new Night Ranger album, and you said there's like 2 of them. But the bottom line is multiple excellent songwriters in your band. And Brad is somebody who has to write practically every day for his day job, writing for film and TV, video games. In your case, do you need a new project to be able to write, or are you regularly writing too?
Well, I have been writing for a solo album, for the last like 5 years. So yeah, I use that as a tool to keep my brain working right. So I mean, the fact that that's what we do, sometimes you can get oversaturated with it. So it's nice to have a break in between.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, I use that as therapy a lot of times. Absolutely.
You were very fun to watch live. I think you're the first drummer that I ever noticed who did the sideways drum kit, or at least didn't put their drum kit all the way in the back. So therefore, you're clearly a focal point of the show, vocally, playing wise, etc. When you're writing a song, do you hear the drum part first or second or anything like that? Or are you writing on other instruments?
Yeah, I write on guitar, so I don't hear the drum part until I'm actually ready to put it down. So, the fact that the song comes first, melody, lyric, and then I try and keep it as simple as possible, and then I let the great guitar players that we have or that I might be working with use, let them do their thing and embellish the part. But yeah, no, I don't hear drum parts at all.
Usually bands track the drums first and they lay everything down, but you're saying that the drums usually get written maybe last or towards the end. So how does that work in terms of that being your instrument, and you're probably going to be laying down the lead vocals, which are last as well? It's kind of out of sequence.
Well, I mean, that's kind of the way it is. You write the song first, and then you use what's needed as far as the rhythm tracks. So it's always basic. But sometimes like songs like Seven Wishes, that was based on a march that I did in high school. So it was like we had the chorus. But then when we got in a room together, I just started doing this march, and everybody was like, well, what if we use that as the basis of the song groove? And it was like, so there's one instance where it was like the drum part came in the beginning.
So do you not finish the song? In other words, you're sitting down to write because you go, hey, I have a new album. Are there unfinished songs for you, or is it unfinished fragments?
That's a good question. A lot of times they are songs. You finish them all the way just because you want to have everything laid out when you're doing an album. Like, what do we need here? Do we need a ballad? Do we need an up tempo? So you usually try and finish them. But yeah, there's lots of kernels. I call them kernels. They're just like stuffed in my phone. They're on the computer in the other room. So yeah. Do it like that.
That's what my next question was going to be. Are they all on your phone? Are they all voice memos? Or are you the rare person who's still tracking on their original 8-track cassette Tascam? Because some people I find are doing that because that's what they were doing when they were a teenager and they never stopped.
Sure. I mean, it's nice to have a simple device that you can go to in an instant. So, I mean, when you go to fire up like something on the computer, like Pro Tools or something like that, that's like, it takes like, 20 minutes.
Right.
So better to grab your phone, better to grab like a digital recorder, a handheld, and get it done that way,
Well, credit to Night Ranger for being strong as ever as a live band. I haven't been able to see the band live. I've just been relying on all the YouTube film footage. And the songs are still in their original keys for the most part. So you're still good. How much of that is preserving your voice intentionally versus luck and genetics?
I mean, I think we do take care of ourselves, so and the focus is all about live now, or making records. So we try and have that, and instead of distractions with, alcohol and stuff. I mean, we went through bouts like that, in the 80s, but now it's just all about how can we be strong? how can we be as good as possible, 100%? I mean, everybody's filming it on their phones, which I don't understand. It's like you get it home and go, man, that was a great concert. Let's play it.
Well, they wanted me to be able to see it. So that's why they did that.
I know, I did. I still joke about it, but it's pretty funny, isn't it?
Yeah. So as somebody who used to spend a lot of time in Japan, it always blew my mind. As big as Night Ranger was here, it was always much bigger in Japan. Was there another country or two like that? For example, was Germany one of your strong territories?
We did play Europe, and stuff like that early on, but we always go back to Japan because I don't know, they embrace our music. They love every song. They try and learn every lyric. So when we're singing the songs live, they're like, singing them back to us. So it's really, I mean, that's a special place for us, because they basically started on the first album.
Mm-hmm.
So we went over there before we actually toured in America on the Dawn Patrol record, and we were like, oh yeah, well, this is great, we're like big stars over here or whatever, and we come back to obscurity to America. We used to laugh about that, like nobody knows us here yet, so it was pretty funny.
In the case of finding success in Japan, sometimes it's because there was one guy in the international department that really got it. Sometimes it was that the manager took the time to take one meeting at the Tokyo office, and then that made everyone care. Any idea what it was that made it so lucky in Japan all these years later?
I think it's just that they embrace, American music. They love American rock and roll, and along with their internal artists as well. But they just like what we do, and they get it, And when you go over there, you see people dressing like us on stage and stuff and they've got a style all their own when it comes to fashion, but they definitely embrace American rock and roll.
Well, where I was going with that is a lot of the all-time classic American artists are virtually unknown over there. For example, good luck finding Tom Petty live in Japan bootlegs. He was, or the Replacements, one of the most influential indie rock, hardcore kind of bands. Nothing happened over there. And then you talk about somebody like Lowell George from Little Feat, and he was kind of a legend.
Yeah, so, I know. It's like, I mean, and look, the promoter that promoted us, he brought like Nat King Cole and the Beatles and stuff like that over to Japan. So it was like, to look at the mixture, it's like totally weird, like Nat King Cole's, Sammy Davis Jr., and then the Beatles, and Deep Purple. I mean, so it's really bizarre when you think about the styles of music that they love over there.
Was that Mr. Udo, the promoter?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Oh, got it. The legendary Mr. Udo. Well, hey, back to And the Band Played On, ATBPO. That is the new record. You mentioned you have a solo record also in the works?
Well, I've been working on it for like 6 or 8 years. So, but the band is, it's so busy. Yeah. So I can't find enough time to finish it. But I probably have like 8 songs now. So I'm getting close, but it's the last one I did was like 10 years ago, or maybe even longer. So, but this is really my focus, is this band. I mean, Jack and Brad and myself, we started the band over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
In 1978, I joined up with them in another band. So we've been in like 3 different bands together. So this is really my focus. But, when I have time, I love working on songs, and I love keeping creative. So.
Sure. Well, my last 2 questions, being mindful of your time here. First one, when you're not busy with Night Ranger, where does your time usually go?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I just like relaxing at home because I do so much traveling. I like being at home. I read a lot, stuff like that. I've been spending the last 4 or 5 years reading about all the music history and the songwriters that I loved when I was a kid. I just finished a book called about Jimmy Webb, which is, incredible songwriter from the 60s and 70s, right? Loved his stuff. I mean, so I've been trying to catch up on all the stuff that I missed as a kid.
Right.
And the inspirations that I had back then. So.
Jimmy Webb, amazing, and moved to Long Island of all places in his later years. Well,
oh my God, wow.
It happens. Sometimes they come here.
You can't drive a Cobra in Long Island. Come on.
No. And the last question I have for you, do you have a TV recommendation that you could pass along to somebody who needs a new show to start?
Oh, Breaking Bad. How about that? I mean, I watched that for the third time during COVID. It was like, oh my God, talk about amazing writing, great cinematography, just all around incredible show. So.
Well, Kelly, thank you for the many, many years of great music. Hope to see you live in the New York metro area when the time comes. But
great, man. Thanks for the
awesomeness, and looking forward to that solo album. Take care.
All right, take care, buddy.
Bye now.
See you.
Paltrocast.